10 times Hulk Hogan was caught lying on camera. Number 10. The mysterious black eye. Now, although Hulk Hogan walked out of WrestleMania 9 as WWE Champion, the event was responsible for highlighting that Hogan was an individual who was going to play backstage politics to get his way. It's common knowledge that Hogan politicked his way into the main event matchup, and it was his call to walk out of the event as WWE Champion. Outside of this blatant abuse of power from the Hulkster, the event also exposed him as yet again being a liar. Hogan showed up to the event with a black eye, and Hogan would inform everyone that he'd been in a skiing accident. Hogan even stuck to his fictional story in an interview with Michael the Voice Schiavello, saying, "I jumped on his ski, and the first wave I jumped over, it nosed on me, so it threw me over the front of the ski, and I had a life jacket on, so I tried to duck down in the water, but the life jacket brought me up, and the ski hit me in the face. It broke my orbital socket." Whilst Hogan has stuck to this story for many years, it's believed to be totally made up. Numerous wrestling names, including Jim Cornette, have stated that Hogan was punched in the face by Macho Man Randy Savage, and that's how his black eye surfaced. Number 9. He faced Brock Lesnar following Lesnar's UFC run. When Hulk Hogan appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience, fans were awaiting Hogan's outlandish stories, and one of Hogan's stories was related to WWE legend Brock Lesnar. On the podcast, Hogan claimed that he wrestled Lesnar following his UFC run coming to an end. This was a ridiculous claim. Whilst Hogan did indeed wrestle Lesnar, their match took place in 2002, and this was the number of years before Lesnar would even step foot into the octagon. By the time Lesnar had finished up in the UFC, Hogan had retired, and Hogan wasn't even in WWE when Lesnar returned to the company in 2012. Number 8. Hulk Hogan the writer. Hulk Hogan's autobiography makes for interesting reading, and one of the things Hogan discusses in his book is his failed venture into Hollywood. In his book, Hogan claims that the scripts for the movies he worked on were such a mess that he basically rewrote them himself. Despite this claim, Hogan was never given a writing credit for any of the movies he worked on, so this is without a doubt another one of Hogan's porkies. Nobody in Hollywood has ever even corroborated Hogan's side of the story, and this is another bizarre lie from the Hulkster, as it can easily be disproven. Number 7. 400 days a year? The WWE Hall of Famer seems to have an odd perception of time, as he once claimed that he wrestled 400 days a year. Of course, there's not 400 days in a year, so this was either a case of Hogan being unaware of how many days in the year there are, or Hogan's concept of time is completely different to everyone else's. Hogan would claim that due to him traveling between Japan and the USA so often, the difference in time zones meant that in total, he would have worked 400 days a year. Whilst this might sound like Hogan is joking, he was being completely serious and legitimately believes that he once worked 400 days in a 365-day calendar year. Number 6. The broken rib. Even during the second WWE run, Hogan was prone to making up fictional stories to present himself in a positive light. Hogan would claim that in his classic match with The Rock at WrestleMania 18, he suffered a broken rib. However, when Hogan appeared on the Bill Simmons podcast, he shared a story which completely contradicted this claim. Hogan would claim that he suffered a broken rib in a 2002 house show match against Rikishi, and this match came before WrestleMania 18. It's extremely telling when an individual can't keep up with their own lies and nonsense. Number 5. His version of the Montreal Screwjob. Although the Montreal Screwjob in 1997 aired live on pay-per-view and was seen by millions of fans, Hulk Hogan had a different account of the action. Speaking on a radio interview in Australia, this was Hogan's word-for-word account of the infamous incident. Well, Bret Hart was supposed to lose to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, whatever the hell it was. 16 or 17, I don't know, where all the fans were chanting "Bret screwed Bret." Bret told Vince McMahon, "I'm not losing to Shawn Michaels in Canada." And Shawn Michaels went out there and pulled a fast one on Bret Hart and held him down and pinned him, and Bret couldn't do anything about it. And the so-called Excellence of Execution, who was supposed to be the greatest wrestler of all, little teeny Shawn Michaels held him down and embarrassed him though. Bret Hart was being a horse's ass, saying he wouldn't lose, and Shawn Michaels pinned him anyway. Of course, this isn't remotely true, and it's possible that Hogan has never even seen footage of the Screwjob, as it's kind of insane he's trying to gaslight the radio host into believing his version of the story. Number 4. He was almost in Metallica. One of the most outlandish Hulk Hogan claims came when he was interviewed by The Sun in the UK, and he claimed that he once auditioned to be in Metallica to replace Cliff Burton. Howard Stern caught wind of this insane story, and the next time Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich was in the studio, Stern directly asked him about the story, and the drummer had never even met Hogan, and naturally, the claims had zero credibility. In a rare move, Hogan was actually called out on this lie during an interview with Noisy, and Hogan drastically altered the narrative he had started. I heard that Metallica needed a bass player, and brother, I was writing letters, made a tape of myself playing and sent it to their management company. Kept making calls trying to get through. I tried for 2 weeks and never heard a word back from them either. I was hoping for a call from them but never got one. All the haters were like, you never auditioned for Metallica. Of course I didn't, but I tried. Number 3, his WrestleMania 30 slip-up. It was a wonderful moment at WrestleMania 30 as The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan all shared a special moment in the ring. Unfortunately, Hogan just couldn't resist sharing nonsense about the segment. Hogan would claim that he had zero idea that The Rock and Austin were coming back out there to share the ring with him, and Hogan was caught out in this lie as the WWE's team captured a special moment between the three legends backstage before the segment, so Hogan was evidently aware of the scripted plans. Now, it's unclear what Hogan was trying to achieve with this lie. Was he trying to suggest that he was originally supposed to be a standout sole attraction in the segment, or is he trying to make WWE look bad by implying that they tried to keep him out of the loop? Number 2, he noticed Kevin Owens. One of the modern day wrestlers that Hulk Hogan seems to be a fan of is Kevin Owens. In fact, Hogan claimed that he saw his second match in NXT and informed WWE that Owens was the guy. During a radio interview in the UK, Hogan stated, "I hate to brag about it, but I'm the first one to point the finger at Kevin Owens. I saw him on NXT like his second match, and I just saw him chop, beat, grind, and beating his guy down. Doing it the old school way and really understanding how to get heat. Doing it the old school way, and I said, that's the guy. I said, that's the guy. I don't care if he looks like a wrestler or looks like an ice cream salesman. I don't care, that's the guy." Hogan had zero power in the WWE at this point, and he wouldn't have been backstage at the NXT shows to influence any creative direction. Owens was already one of WWE's chosen guys at this point in time, and they were clearly getting ready to make him a huge deal in the company. This is an example of Hogan trying to make himself look as good as humanly possible, and as always, it backfired in a major and humiliating way. And number 1, Andre passed away when? Hulk Hogan's appearance on MTV Cribs was noteworthy, especially the part of the show where Hogan showed off his own personal collection of wrestling memorabilia. Hogan would pick up a pair of iconic boots, and Hogan claimed that he wore the boots to wrestle the legendary Andre the Giant, and just days after, Andre sadly passed away. Hogan last wrestled Andre in a singles match back in 1988, and Andre didn't even pass away until 1993. This lie is absurd, and it's unbelievable to think that Hogan thought that lying about something like this was okay. But this isn't the only lie Hogan has told about Andre over the years, as he previously claimed that Andre was almost 700 pounds when he body slammed him at WrestleMania 3. This is not the case, and anyone who was working for WWE at the time can debunk this claim, and even a fan using their own eyes can determine that Andre clearly isn't 700 pounds at the time of the matchup. But there you have it, folks, 10 of the most insane Hulk Hogan lies. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.